For personal self-defense, we live in a dangerous world. Think about this. Should you carry just a gun, just a knife, or both? Now, if you've been following my channel, you know my answer is, if it's legally possible for you to do, is to carry both. As a matter of fact, I feel like I'm naked if I leave the house without something in my right front pocket, a wicked blade that I can pull out and wave it out in a snap of a second to personally defend myself. But we're going to talk about the positives of the gun, the positives of the knife, and the disadvantages also. I know everyone across the world has different rules and laws and regulations that you have to abide by. Some of you can only carry a blade. Some of you can have a knife at certain lengths. And some of you can have a gun, and then if you have a knife also, there's different rules and regulations. But everyone, please throw in your comments on what you do for your everyday carry related to knife and blades. We're also going to talk about a couple of scenarios in which a criminal might attempt to take our life, and what would you use, the gun or the knife? I know everyone's going to jump in there in some comments and say, well, never bring a knife to a gunfight. I like to have options, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. Welcome to weaponseducation.com, my friends. A gun, a knife, or both. Of course, know what your laws are. A lot of people across the world have different rules and regulations they have to abide by. I'm looking forward to seeing the comments on this. Let's start out the video with looking at what is on this table. We're going to talk about training and how important it is to be trained with a blade, because these things are nothing to be toyed with. My favorite series for personal self-defense blades happens to be the Cold Steel Espada. As a matter of fact, if I walk out the home without some type of wicked blade in my right front pocket, I kind of feel like I'm a little bit unarmed a little bit. As strange as that might sound, but by the end of this video, I think you might realize, well, it's a little bit more comforting to have options. Let's look at what's on the table here. You've got 3 Espadas. They make 3. This is the polished series. On the left-hand side is the medium one, which is pretty hefty, very large. Look how sharp that blade is. Let's pull in a 1080p. And I'll tell you right now, it's gorgeous. It's polished. G10 handle. And then you have on the right-hand side right here, the large. And I love that wave feature which Emerson designed years ago, so you can pull it out of your pocket and catch your corner of your jeans or your clothing and whip it out really quick. You've seen me do it in previous videos. Right there, that chunk of steel will do it for you, but you better get trained, because you will get cut, and you do not want to lose a finger, or heaven forbid cut your wrist or something, practicing with one of these blades. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in a moment, but let's move on up here and show you how gorgeous that large Espada is and polished. And then of course you've got the extra large. You've seen me pull this out of my pocket, and those of you who know me in person know that I do carry this. I like to have options. I do not think it is overkill. And we talk about a few scenarios here in a moment, I think it might open a few eyes, and a lot of people might say, you know what, I've been carrying a gun, I've got the option to also carry a blade. I think I'm going to start doing both. But get proficient with your blade, because if you don't, you will get cut. And it's not going to be a good scene. On the bottom here, you've got a Spyderco civilian serrated blade, high quality blade. Let's start at the right. Just absolutely gorgeous. Look at the serrations on that. These are designed to cut human flesh. Make no secret about that. So, and the tip on that, as you can see, is dipped in there to hold it stand, but that tip is pointy and as sharp. That is extremely, extremely deadly. And then I have, for display purposes, one of my favorite handguns in the collection. Maybe, possibly, I can't say that my favorite, but it's way up there. The HK USP 45 compact two-tone, and of course with handguns, I want to talk about having the opportunity of having spare mags. Now let's talk about it. Okay, now that's what's on the table. Let's talk about it. What are the advantages of having a knife alongside with a gun? Well, first of all, let's talk about gun advantages. Of course, you have, it's a gun. I agree. It's your go-to #1 weapon for self-defense in most scenarios. But we never know what type of scenario we're going to be in. There's no two crimes that are alike. There's no two criminals that are alike. We just don't know. The gun, you know, one shot, one kill, we're going to hear that. Of course, the gun, if there's multiple perpetrators out there, you can take them out. You've got the option of carrying a lot of rounds in your gun. Most semi-automatics are at least 8 rounds, 9 rounds, 10 rounds, up to 15 rounds, and then you can carry spare mags. I'm very proud of the holster systems that I have. I make all these custom holster systems from scratch by hand. Army Express outlet if you wish to have any of these mag pouches made. But you know, with the gun, you have the opportunity, of course, to shoot multiple people, bad guys. You have multiple rounds, you have extra mags, but then you have some disadvantages in which you might shoot someone that you do not intend to shoot. You might shoot a good person in the crowd. And it's also very loud. Now let's talk about some knife advantages. It's very silent. No one else is going to get shot. And you've got that surprise effect of whipping it out in a wave effect. And like I said, please train. Do not attempt to do what I do on previous videos and whip this out in the wave effect, which means you pull it out and it all snaps out all at once. Do not attempt to do that without getting trained, because you will get cut bad. Okay, with that said, let's talk about a few scenarios in which, well, you know, maybe the knife might come first before the gun. Just maybe. I mean, I like to have options. For instance, here's a true story, and then I'll give you a hypothetical story. A true story, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'll get right into it. Restaurant. Bad guy's sitting at the bar. He gets drunk. He gets in an argument with the bartender. That's it. Bartender asks him to leave. He leaves. He goes to his car. He comes back in. I call it a restaurant. It's a restaurant slash like nightclub because there was a band playing. So he walks back in momentarily, like 2 minutes later, and he's got a knife, and he starts stabbing people at random. The band gets off stage, and he stabs to death the drummer. This is a true story. So you got the psychopath who got in an argument with the bartender, goes out to his car, comes back into this crowded place, and starts killing people, and he did. And he killed the drummer amongst some other people in the restaurant. And what did the proud, heroic people do is jump on him as he's stabbing the drummer. And one of the people actually grabbed a kitchen knife off of one of the dinner tables and stabbed the perpetrator to death to stop him from the carnage. Now, would a gun have been good in that situation? I don't know. I mean, do you want to start blasting into a bunch of people tackled on top of one guy? Maybe a blade, which it was in that situation, is better. Now, what about, this is hypothetical now, because like I said, there's no two crimes that are alike. Just what if? You know, what if you're in a restaurant and a guy holds up the restaurant and he says, listen, everyone empty your wallets, empty your purses, everything, cell phones, everything on the floor. And there's another guy out there, look out the window. There's another guy with a gun and he's got a getaway car and he's got two people at gunpoint. So this guy outside with a gun, bad guy. This guy inside with a gun, bad guy. And gosh, I mean, if you blast the bad guy inside, I'm just making this up right now because we just don't know what the future is. You blast the bad guy inside, okay, that'll stop the problem inside, but will it stop the problem outside? Will the guy outside with a gun come in and start blasting people? Or if you're trained with a blade, and now this is huge, you may want to get some martial arts training. Because if you're trained with a blade, maybe the bad guy with a gun is walking by you and you can pull out something like what I'm showing you here, take him out silently, get police there, let them deal with the guy outside, the bad guy outside, and then who knows? You know, just options are good is all I'm trying to get across in this video. I want to let everyone know that if you have the legal authority to carry both, get trained with both, and that's what I'd like to see everyone do to take advantage of your Second Amendment right, is to utilize everything that is at your fingertips as far as what the law lets you do to defend yourself and your family and the people around you. And if it means that you can also carry a blade, do so, but you better, please, better get trained. I've got the cuts and wounds on my fingers that I wish I don't even want to disclose the pain I went through. There's more feelings in your finger, I found out, than on most places in your body. And I mean that, guys. Got a lot of feeling on that fingertip. There's other parts of your body got a lot of feelings in, but those fingertips you don't want to cut off and you don't want to mess with. Please train, and you know what I'm getting at right here is use all options that you have. What do you think? I've never heard someone talk about this. Gun, knife, or both? What's your situation? What do you do? Thank you. I care about everybody. Take a deep breath here and enjoy making these videos. And I'll just check out by saying I'm doing a lot with the NRA right now, and I have a lot more things to do eyeball to eyeball here with everybody. And just thank you for subscribing. I put my heart into this channel. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.